It has been 15 years since a war erupted between humans and demons. Humans entered the demon realm through gates and seized a strategic demon position. However, as humans deployed their forces, demon forces occupied human territory. The small frozen nations of the south faced skirmishes with demons, bringing chaos and destruction and causing suffering to humans. Amidst the confusion, a hero emerged. Accompanied by 3 companions, he set out to defeat demons. The rapid advance of this group brought great hope to the peoples of central nations. However, impatient with their slow advance through the demon realm or for some other reason, the hero left his party and forged ahead alone towards the Demon King's castle. As the hero reached the Demon King's castle, he was shocked to find it vast, yet no one was there. MC suspected it was a trap, so he cautiously explored the castle. Crossing the hall, he went to another side, contemplating confronting the Demon King. He vowed to slay the Demon King and end the long war with demons. Entering the room, the hero encountered a person on a stage with their back turned. The hero declared his intention to end the war, drew his sword, and rushed towards the figure. When the Demon King turned around, the hero was surprised to find her a woman, causing him to stop abruptly and narrowly avoid a collision with her. The woman bowed down and greeted the hero. Confused, the hero questioned her identity, and she revealed herself as the 43rd Demon King with the title Ruby Eyes. The hero was taken aback and embarrassed when she showed him her symbol below her 2 breasts. The hero warned the Demon King to stop putting her breasts in his face. The hero, determined to fulfill his duty, pointed his sword at her, declaring his intention to defeat her for the sake of humans and justice. The Demon King gets close to MC, unfazed, and says she will dodge his attack and greet him again. The atmosphere grew intense, and the hero blushed in an awkward or romantic manner. The Demon King expressed her anticipation of speaking with him, claiming him as her hero. The hero rejected her claim, stating the destruction caused by her actions. Meanwhile, the hero's 3 companions discovered his departure from the party and called him a stupid while lamenting the MC consequences for Green Forest Country, now devoid of greenery due to demons. Only a blackened sky is there, and people are starving. She said, if they cut down the forest, they will find a way to make charcoal, eventually ruining them because of pollution. MC questioned, pollution? She replied, he must not know it yet, right? MC retorted, don't try to fool him with that kind of nonsense. He argued that demons possess the country's ministers, who, when caught doing evil, claimed they were brainwashed by demons. The Demon King says human politicians evade responsibility by blaming demons. MC recounted witnessing southern territories ravaged by demon armies during the war. She responded that demons were also killed by humans, and he insisted it was because demons were evil. She challenged, who decided that? Perhaps his oath to God ought to have been reconsidered. MC demanded silence and pointed his sword at her. She expressed love, but he rejected the notion and questioned the paper she presented. It turned out to be an economic analysis. She asked if he knew about economics, and he admitted ignorance. She explained that it summarized the advantages of war. MC argued that war had no advantage in the human world. An analysis suggested the war had united humans against demons, and the 3 people are talking about reducing plague and famine. He talks with 2 others, discussing the benefits of war, but as MC reads the analysis, he is shocked. He said that understanding the analysis didn't justify perpetuating or starting the war. He accused her of being a war criminal, irritating her. MC decided to accompany her if it meant stopping the war. When they questioned the ongoing war, the king revealed their kingdom had no lifeline, and war funds from the central nation were crucial. The scene shifts, showing the prince, who is reminded by the king that before the war, they faced annihilation. MC informed the Demon King that the central nation sent charity funds to the southern nation, and they are helping the poor and needy with it, but they are not getting anything in return. She argued they were getting something in return. She led him to a room where MC relaxed after removing his equipment. He said, wait, get to the point. The Demon King replied, he wants to know what she wants to know. What are they getting in return? It is security. MC, confused, said, security. The Demon King explained that the war hadn't reached every part of the human world, especially the southern nations, which were like another world. She got up, took a lamp in her hands, and moved towards MC. He got on guard, holding his sword. Suddenly, she handed him the lamp and extinguished all the candles, plunging them into darkness. Then, lamps started glowing, and she explained that the lamp shows what's inside the mind of the one who is holding it. In other words, they were looking at memories. The scene shifted to the childhood memory of MC, where parties were going on, and he was a young child with an old man. The Demon King mentioned that parties were held almost every night, filled with bright lights and plenty of delicious food. MC agreed, recalling seeing drunken nobles in vineyards, making it seem like there was no war at all. The Demon King said it's the opposite. They can have those luxuries because of the war. MC found it nonsensical, and she asked what would happen if the war ended. He replied that the world would be at peace without any deception. However, she argued that if the war ended, the exports of the central nation would be ruined, leading to economic collapse, unemployment, and widespread death. She added that due to the war, food is going to nations in need, but the world's agriculture output hasn't significantly increased. People still starve here and there. A scene shift showed forces burning a house. A girl stops them because her sister is inside. She has been slapped by a soldier, and he claims they did it to prevent the spread of demonic disease in humans. She was with her little sister, scared and crying. MC is confused. She asked what else there was, and she suggested sitting down to explain. A scene shifted to MC's companions discussing the situation. One of them, an old man, made an inappropriate comment about a female companion's appearance, leading to a confrontation. She elaborated on the repercussions of telling the truth about MC leaving his companions, creating chaos in society. The scene shifted to MC, shocked by revelations. He couldn't believe it, but the Demon King suggested that human kings likely knew the consequences. She explained that humanity would be destroyed whether demons won or lost, and that's why they sent MC instead of armies. If demons won, they would establish colonies and take slaves from the human world, fighting among themselves for dominance. If humans won, they would do the same to demons. MC, in disbelief, declared that humans wouldn't do such things. The Demon King approached him, looked into his eyes, and said that many worlds have fallen in that way. She then used the lamp to show her memories, revealing a place she longed to see. As the scene shifted, MC fell down on a boat, shocked by the sudden change in location. The Demon King mentioned the place she wanted to see, leaving MC deeply disturbed. MC says, a place that she wants to see. The Demon King asks if he has seen what lies beyond the hill and where the boat is heading. He replies affirmatively, saying he has often seen it. Excited, she comes near him, suggesting that her excitement might be because he's a hero. Blushing as she gets close, he notices her happiness. She expresses her desire to see the world beyond the war and asks if he will be her hero. She wants him to be her eyes, her light, and her blade. He hesitates, and she playfully teases him, moving around him. She asks if there's any negotiation. MC then tells her not to look at him with puppy eyes, refusing each time in an adorable, childish way. She mentions the ancient record, suggesting offering him half the world. MC remains unimpressed, stating that no hero would accept such a role. She then says it's pathetic to still divide the world between them, exchanging struggles. MC declares the negotiation has failed, but she surprises him by stating she'll give herself to him completely. He is shocked and embarrassed, questioning if she understands what she's saying. She confirms and offers to share how fast her heart is beating, to which he firmly declines. She insists there's room for negotiation and approaches MC, who asks her to stay away. She promises not to touch him without permission, claiming she has the advantage. She explains that even if she surrenders, the human king will hide it, and a new demon king will soon be crowned. However, ending the war another way would give hope to the entire world. MC questions who she really is, and she responds that if armies end wars, it's the king's job to find a place for them to end. MC wonders if that's why she wants him, and she clarifies that she truly wants someone to go to the other side with her. MC tells her she's too close. She then apologizes and moves backward. She admits to lacking the physical attributes that most men look for in a woman. MC denies it, but she insists, crying and pointing out her fluffy upper arms. MC asks her not to cry, and she continues, expressing pride in her chastity as an honor contract. She explains that a contract of this nature binds her soul with a strength stronger than steel, pledging to stay by his side through sickness and health. She asks if he'll be hers, acknowledging that they've both done horrible things. She reaches to touch MC's face, and after some hesitation, he allows it, noting her freezing hands. She declares her belongings to him, and MC reciprocates, sealing the contract. MC asks about their first move, and she suggests starting the journey with food. He remarks that it's a long journey, and she uncomfortably mentions not wanting to. He presses her, shouting and asking if she's ready for it. Stunned and confused, she stammers, and MC reassures her that he'll never leave her side. The Demon King blushes, and MC gives her his hand. They decide to proceed together, and she asks if she can hug him. The Demon King hugged MC, and he pushed her back. The Demon King touches the lamp, revealing a memory of her practicing how to kiss the hero. Both get embarrassed, and she claims it was to prepare for such circumstances. She asks him to forget about it, and they look away from each other. She then takes out her horns, shocking MC, revealing it wasn't her. She explains she doesn't often use them, grabs MC's hand, and suggests they go find what's on the other side of the hill. The girl investigates her surroundings, ensuring no imminent danger while fleeing with her little sister. During their escape, the younger sister observes that they remain unnoticed. The scene shifts to various glaciers, where the MC and the Demon King find themselves after being teleported. A strong wind sweeps over them, prompting another teleportation. As they traverse the area, MC questions if this is their destination, and the Demon King confirms, deeming it their hideout. As they continue, MC wonders if the Demon King wouldn't prefer a larger territory. She explains that a fully furnished place wouldn't suit their need for discretion. This newly established village is ideal for concealing their identities, she adds. MC agrees, emphasizing the importance of maintaining anonymity. The Demon King reveals that one of her associates has prepared a small house for them. A voice calling for the queen interrupts, and a maid appears. MC becomes frustrated as the maid openly exposes their identities and directs them to a mansion, reminding them of the need to hide. Inside, MC reprimands the maid for her behavior, and the Demon King introduces her as the head maid. The maid expresses joy at the news of the queen's marriage, leaving MC bewildered. The Demon King clarifies it's a mutual position contract, not a marriage, but the maid insists it's the same. She promises not to reveal their identities again. MC questions the Demon King about the maid inside the mansion. She explains that the maid has been with her since childhood and sometimes even commands the demon armies. In the bedroom at night, the maid mentions rumors of the hero and the Demon King fighting in the castle, and the perception of her being wounded will buy them time for almost a year. The Demon King adds that they must do something within a year, or her owner will be upset. The next morning, MC, the maid, and the Demon King strolled through a field. The Demon King proposes a 4-stage crop rotation to enhance soil quality, and MC queries its impact. She explains the rotation: barley, clover, wheat, and turnip fields, highlighting its benefits. MC understands and acknowledges the method's effectiveness in providing consistent food and improving the cold, poor region. The Demon King emphasizes the need to organize the village and prioritize field management to prevent territorial disputes among the villagers. As they walk, they greet indifferent villagers. The Demon King suggests increasing self-managed production and focusing on stimulating the economy in the evening. MC and the Demon Maid exit the elder's house in the evening. The maid expresses surprise at the village elder's stubbornness, and the Demon King mentions the necessity for education. MC is confused, and the maid clarifies the importance of engaging others in significant matters. The Demon King adds that this must be the priority for anything else to happen, and the maid concurs. At night, within the castle, rain falls, and the Demon King invites the hero to sit next to her, explaining that it's warmer there. MC complies, and as they sit together, the Demon King compliments him for possessing numerous qualities. She notes that he wasn't frightened by her when she was close. MC responds that she is not intimidating, attributing it to her lack of exercise. The Demon King asserts she is still the Demon King, and MC remarks on her modesty. She claims it's part of her plot to negotiate with him, explaining her intentions without misunderstandings. MC requests that she share her plan, and she mentions they have some time before dinner. MC agrees, and she comments on his current exhausted state. Referring to ancient records, she suggests that warriors must rest and proposes that he rest his head on her lap. He agrees, and as they share a moment, the Demon King mentions how soft his hair is. In response, MC remarks on the softness of her thighs. A sense of embarrassment sets in, leading to a romantic atmosphere. The Demon King attempts to kiss MC, but a commotion from a horse interrupts the moment. The girl and the child are taken care of, and while eating, MC and the Demon King observe them from behind. After finishing, the girl expresses gratitude for the wonderful clothes. MC reassures her, telling them not to worry. The Demon King inquires about the quality of the food and the comfort of the bed. The girl apologizes for asking but requests not to be reported at dawn, asking for a little time. Suddenly, the maid interrupts, questioning their conversation and highlighting their lack of decent clothes, shoes, or money. The little girl argues that they have worked hard together and want to go to the capital to live together. The maid dismisses it as nonsense, but the little girl insists on making the most of their efforts. The maid attempts to discourage them, but the little girl remains adamant about going to the capital and living together. MC tries to intervene, but the Demon King steps in. The maid criticizes them for taking advantage of their generosity, threatening their position. She deems them insects, stating that if someone is satisfied with being an insect, she refuses to consider them human. The girl apologizes, bows down, and asks the maid to help them become humans. The maid instructs her on the correct way to make a request, and then she asks the Demon King if it's okay to hire them as maids. The Demon King agrees, adding that the maid will be responsible for training them. The scene shifts to the girl addressing MC as the hero and searching for him with yummy bread. She finds him sitting on a cutting tree, eating bread. MC pats her head, and she asks how her teaching is going, expressing gratitude. The girl discusses their future, expressing happiness with plenty of food, no fights, warm beds, and clean clothing. MC is lost in thought, and the little girl asks what he's thinking. He replies with nothing, but she senses there's something he hasn't considered. MC admits he's not good with money or agriculture, is only trained in swordsmanship, and hasn't thought about what he'll do when peace is achieved. The scene shifts to the mansion, The Demon King mentions the maximum scale of war affecting the economics of the South, admitting it's outside her specialty. The strong boy attempts to argue, but the Demon King silences him. She explains the challenges of maintaining a campaign when casualties increase by 30%, especially against the demon armies, which primarily engage in short skirmishes and fights to defeat their bases. The girl asks about the Crusade of the Holy Key. The Demon King explains that it's an exception. The smart boy mentions that the army was formed by the Crisis Response Council to defeat evil demons. They've conquered 2 important demon cities in the past 15 years but failed to capture the demon capital, despite divine powers. The Demon King says the first requirement of the crusade is the desire to end the war, and the second is economic support. The strong boy argues that fighting a war using an abacus is ridiculous, claiming starvation is just an excuse for the weak. Then the smart boy claims people are protected by the Lord, making starvation impossible. The girl counters that they haven't experienced starvation, annoying the Demon King. The scene shifts as the students leave. The Demon King sits on the stairs, and MC asks why she started talking about education. The Demon King doesn't believe logic and negotiation will work with the human children and suggests turning them into frogs. MC tells her not to do that and informs her that they have to teach the village elder next, and it starts raining. The Demon King remarks on the cold, and MC covers her with his coat, complimenting her on being pretty. She reciprocates the sentiment, and they discuss her experimentation and teaching farmers, which are progressing smoothly. MC asks how many years it will take to see results, and then she mentions a secret weapon in a box. When she opens it, MC stands by, asking what it is. MC mentions that it has been 3 months, to which the Demon King specifies that it's 3 months and 9 days precisely. They observe the plant's robust growth, with the Demon King acknowledging the successful progress of their experiment. Suddenly, the villagers arrive, exchanging greetings and offering gifts. They express amazement at the plant's development, with the elder suggesting thinly slicing them, frying them in oil, and seasoning them with salt. The Demon King assures them it will be delicious, and they plan to celebrate with the village elder once the harvest arrives. MC expresses a desire to join the fieldwork, reminiscing about her previous attempt, where she struggled to control her powers. The scene shifts to 3 students assisting the new maids in the fields. MC and the Demon King are pleased to see them bonding. The head maid welcomes them, announcing the start of the harvest. The Demon King expresses contentment, and the maid inquires about any other positive developments. The Demon King responds negatively, and MC and the Demon King teleport to a forest location. MC identifies a large stone building as a convent with jurisdiction over the region's news. Approaching the building, the Demon King remarks on the milder climate compared to the winter region, while MC emphasizes the church's punctuality. The Demon King notes the significant influence of the church on human education and science. Upon reaching the church, they deliver a bag to the nun, noticing someone observing them from a window. They are escorted into a room where the Demon King is informed that a priest will be summoned. In the room, MC suggests leaving negotiations to her if they fail, confident in her abilities. MC probes if she feels saddened by the situation, expressing his occasional discomfort. Suddenly, someone enters the room, and the Demon King greets them as the Crimson Scholar and agriculture researcher from a southern village. MC clarifies the person's role as a white swordsman, her protector. The individual questions MC's statement, asserting their identity as the hero. The convent turns out to be an old companion of MC, expressing surprise at hearing nothing since MC left to confront the Demon King alone. MC expresses regret for involving them, prompting the woman in the room to slap him out of worry and frustration. The Demon King and her friend discuss MC becoming her protector in exchange for healing his injuries sustained in a battle against the Demon King. MC's friend reveals that she became a prioress after reporting MC's solo journey to the Demon King's castle and hearing of his demise. Despite the Empire offering rewards to other heroes, she refused, choosing to return to the convent to aid others. MC commends her, acknowledging her courage, and advises her to be herself instead of pretending to be someone else. Night intervenes, encouraging her not to suppress her true personality. Frustrated, she denies concealing anything, while MC advises her not to force herself. MC inquires about their other 2 companions. The old man, now working for the intelligence group, accepted the money. When asked about the mage, MC's friend reveals she left independently to search for MC in the demon world. MC remarks that she didn't try to stop her, to which she replies affirmatively, but woke up the next morning to find all her belongings gone. MC consoles her, encouraging her not to be disheartened, as she won't be easily defeated. Then, the Demon King announces her visit to the convent to seek aid. Before that, she unveils the contents of a box, revealing potatoes that grow underground. The aroma piques the interest of MC's friend, and the nuns confirm she prepared the dish according to the Demon King's instructions. MC's friend savors the dish, finding it delicious. The Demon King explains the nutritional value of potatoes and their adaptability to poor soil and cold climates. She admits they are initially poisonous but become safe with proper harvesting and storage, citing her experiments in Winter Pass Village. The Demon King petitions for the establishment of a convent in Winter's Pass Village to teach effective agriculture techniques. MC's friend agrees, stating it aligns with their convent's mission. The Demon King further requests building convents in surrounding areas. MC's friend questions the benefits, and the Demon King emphasizes the goal of a future free from war and starvation. MC's friend agrees to assist and personally oversee Winter Pass Village. MC expresses shock at the risk, considering the hero's dangerous nature, but the Demon King welcomes her. She thanks MC's friend, and MC anticipates the encounter between the two women. The Demon King expresses respect for those with whom she has contracts. Knight assures the Demon King she'll reciprocate according to the laws of charity, leaving MC puzzled about the potential outcome. Then, the Knight expresses gratitude to God for reuniting her with her old friend and for providing such a scholar. The Demon King corrects her, attributing it to people's hard work. In the evening, as MC and the Demon King depart from the convent, MC expresses satisfaction with the success of their covert operation. The Demon King acknowledges the effectiveness of their plan but admits she hadn't expected to encounter her old flame. MC advises against such terms, emphasizing the sensitivity surrounding past relationships. The Demon King assures him she won't mention it again. MC then asks about her activities during the past 2 months spent alone in one room. The Demon King explains the necessity of constant movement to avoid depleting the land's resources. Concerned about soil depletion, they discussed making offerings, burning crops, or allowing the land to regenerate. MC offers his teleportation abilities to assist with fishing in the southern ice seas. However, the Demon King reveals the larger challenge, the Alliance, which dominates 60% of the continent's wheat trade. Despite MC's shock, the Demon King explains the Alliance's crucial role in supporting human life. Their conversation shifts to the Alliance's offer to MC, involving speeches and parades. Feeling manipulated, MC breaks down, feeling like a failure. The Demon King suggests a harsh lesson to help MC understand the Alliance's true nature. The scene transitions to 3 men examining a compass, speculating on its potential for wealth and higher ranks. They realize it came from the Crimson Scholar from Winter Pass Village, which could complicate negotiations with the landside convent. They wonder if she sent it to someone else. One of them clarifies that he is a simple merchant, not an assassin, and aspires to be one. Simultaneously, former hunters gift the girl and child maids with hunted rabbits, symbolizing positive changes in the village. The girl recalls her past struggles, including fleeing a burned-down home. Then, the scene shifts to MC packing, and the Demon King enters his room, expressing concern about his well-being. MC reassures her that she doesn't need to worry. She then asks if the mage is his old flame, to which he replies negatively. The Demon King asks MC to accompany her to a room, showing him armor and assigning him a mission. MC inquires about it, and the Demon King explains that it's not cursed armor. Due to her absence, the demon world has become disorderly, so she wants him to manage the unruly ones. She provides him with a list and letters of introduction, emphasizing his reliance on her kindness, to which MC agrees. When the Demon King mentions a special parting ritual, MC becomes confused. She questions if he's refusing because of her useless flesh, shocking MC. He denies it, and the Demon King suggests they need to be physically closer. MC questions this, and the Demon King mentions the head maid's observation that for the past 2 months, they haven't even held hands. The Demon King is surprised by her knowledge of their secret. The maid reveals she observed them and remarks on MC's. The head maid playfully suggests they need to be closer physically, emphasizing the importance of physical intimacy in relationships. MC agrees but feels embarrassed. He suggests they can address it when they are less busy. The Demon King notes that 6 months have passed without any changes, questioning why there have been no changes after 6 months and mentioning that once the convent is completed, MC's first old flame will arrive, and he is going in search of 2 old flames. The Demon King expresses her agitation, moving closer and leaning in for a kiss. MC kisses her forehead, disappointing her. He promises to fulfill the rest when he returns and teleports away with the armor. The scene shifts to the castle, where the Demon King questions the necessity of dressing for the meeting, to which the head maid insists she must, emphasizing the importance of meeting a potential trading partner. The Demon King reluctantly agrees, and the little maid inquires about the amazing love letter she received. The Demon King clarifies it wasn't a love letter, but the little maid insists it was passionate. The Demon King questions if the head maid told her that, and the head maid orders them to prepare the Demon King. Despite her hesitation, they forcibly dressed her. The scene shifts again, this time to the students being trained by the knight. She declares that anyone who falls easily has no right to fight. The head maid observes from the window, noting that summer has finally arrived. The Demon King remarks that the courtyard will become even hotter, making the training more rigorous. When she first arrived and learned the hero was missing, she caused a commotion in the front garden. The knight unsheathes her sword and asks a student to hold it, then slices it into pieces. The head maid comments on the Demon King's lack of attention to dressing since the hero's departure. The Demon King denies this, and the scene shifts once more. The Demon King explains that the hero is merely on a business trip, confirming he hasn't abandoned her yet. The head maid compliments her appearance, stressing the importance of looking good for negotiations. The Demon King questions if it's too flashy, but the head dismisses it, accusing her of being ashamed of her ugly, useless flesh. The Demon King becomes angry, defending herself, and the elder maid and little maid express admiration. The head maid instructs her to get dressed, as they are meeting with Alliance merchants and need to rely on her. The Demon King expresses nervousness, hoping the hero returns in time. The scene shifts to the merchant's carriage discussing the upcoming meeting. One of them wonders about the person they will meet, and the companion mentions following the plan if things go awry. The scene shifts back inside the castle, where the head urges the Demon King to get dressed. The horror and night ghosts are in position as the Demon King says it's time. The merchants arrive, astonished by the beautiful woman. They praise her beauty and wisdom, and the Demon King explains the clothes are an attempt to improve her negotiating position. The merchants acknowledge the importance of the matter, noting that there is much preparation for someone of low rank. The Demon King opens a box, revealing a variety of corn as the negotiations begin. The merchant asks, "What is this?" mentioning they have never seen it. The Demon King introduces the plant called koron, an animal plant flourishing with minimal water and requiring a temperature of 30 degrees to thrive. One of them remarks that it's fairly high, to which the Demon King agrees, mentioning it's perfect for the wilds of the central nations, previously unsuitable for crops. She proposes sending people to settle in the wilderness, resulting in more efficient farming and a massive market under Alliance control. The Demon King emphasizes that she's selling not just a product or a method but a new idea. The merchant becomes angry, claiming victory in the war is the only solution. The Demon King argues that the Alliance sponsors the war against demons and questions their duty. The merchant insists it's their belief, prompting the Demon King to mention it's what he tells people. Shady figures observing the scene give signals, but the ghosts prevent any advances. The merchant asks if she's an enemy or ally of the Alliance, to which the Demon King responds, "A trading partner." The merchant accuses her of betrayal and blasphemy, likening her dreams to her blood-red eyes. The Demon King agrees, and the merchant questions her alliance. She explains her belief in mutual gain, which forms the second strongest bond between heaven and earth. The merchant, intrigued, asks about starting with the corns. The Demon King apologizes, citing ongoing experiments, and assures there will be plenty by next spring. The merchant agrees, expressing the need to strengthen their position. They shake hands, and the merchant proposes a marriage, surprising the Demon King. He suggests meeting again, expressing admiration, and proposing again. The Demon King declines, and the merchant kisses her hand, asking if he can call her. The Demon King declines once more. As the scene shifts, voices in the castle discuss an old man and his highness. They converse about potatoes brought by a scholar, improved farming tools, educational facilities, and windmills to enhance food production. The idea of ending the war and aiding the convent is proposed, but the prince insists on sending a lone individual to end the conflict. The butler advises against hasty decisions. Inside the home, the Demon King questions a stack of papers, which the head maid explains are from the Alliance, containing various documents and receipts. The Demon King expresses disbelief at having to deal with it all and dismisses the head maid. Moving out, the Demon King muses on the arrival of fall, wondering why she hasn't heard from MC in 6 months. The head maid comments on her impatience, angering the Demon King, who warns against repetition and expresses frustration at not receiving any word from MC. The head maid reveals that MC saved the fairies after a battle with a dragon, and the dragon offered his daughter in marriage. She adds that the hero was spotted at the outer library, but the Demon King finds the explanation unsatisfactory. The head maid warns against staying angry to avoid wrinkles, prompting a threat from the Demon King to bite the hero. The head maid consoles her, advising against overthinking. As the Demon King requests tea, the head maid brings it, mentioning that Her Majesty threatened to take a bite out of her. Opening a box, the Demon King finds MC inside and questions if she knew he was there. The head explains that it's a midday institution. MC comments on her ability to find him every time, and the head maid asks if he has his latest letter. MC agrees to write it, and as the head maid goes to bring tea, MC starts writing. Observing, the head remarks on his avoidance of Her Majesty, encouraging him to share any problems. She recounts how he was approached by Her Majesty's people, with a translucent slime girl confessing her love and a large, blessed cowgirl claiming him as her groom. MC asks how she knew, and the head maid explains his infrequent visits despite his teleportation ability. She notes Her Majesty's growing concern due to not needing him for anything. When ordered to be hers in the throne room, she promised him something he'd never seen before. MC had expected to use his power to suppress the demon rebels or close the gate. But Her Majesty avoids conflict and cares deeply for him. MC mentions their contract, but the head maid insists Her Majesty is there for him. He admits feeling scared and uncertain of his role as a hero. The head maid acknowledges his hesitation and hidden feelings, emphasizing his belonging to Her Majesty. In the kitchen, the little maid mentions the villagers' New Year's Eve dance, hoping the hero returns to dance with Her Majesty. The elder maid recalls the decision not to send a holy key crusade but to defeat the demons. The scene shifts to a man discussing opposition to a crusade at the Conference of Southern Nations, except for the White Knight country, strengthening ties with the Central Nations. They anticipate a war on Aurora Island, occupied by demons. The prince considers the situation while the students discuss winter formation. The knight warns them of the consequences of war, emphasizing the importance of lives and wealth. She acknowledges the demons as evil and the humans as good, but emphasizes the realities of war. She vows not to let them die, especially considering their youth and inexperience. The elder maid consoles the knight, who doubts her role as a teacher. The elder maid disagrees, expressing her desire to fight and run. The knight questions her desire to learn, and the elder maid affirms it. Despite feeling like a better teacher than the hero, the elder maid wonders if she's truly human now. The war is beginning, and the holy capital, along with the church, has devised a plan to retake Aurora Island. The church's resolve is unshakable, as they lose their power over people without some conflict with demons. The imminent election for a new pope is a factor, and conditions are right for new battles to spring up around Aurora Island. The question arises whether they will be making new compasses and warships. They have taken control of the island for 10 years, and if they can seize control of Aurora Island, it will allow them to form new trade routes to the west, making the transportation of goods cheaper than by land. The lands in the southern nations are growing more productive, and they don't want anything to interfere with that. A merchant reveals that he has been asked to provide a large quantity of South Sea herring, at a minimum of 5 times his current holdings. The company asks if they plan to build a castle of herring, and the merchant mentions a magic that can bring forth wealth from herring. He expresses surprise at realizing the only thing he could ever love was money. The merchant emphasizes that not winning would be disastrous, though they will still gain something. His father remarks that fortune will last as long as demons do, and in the south, power changes quickly, with everything riding on the outcome of the war. The scene shifts to an inn where a man falsely accuses a demi-human, getting angry at her. He offers her a chance to flee, but as the manager tries to save her, she is pushed aside. MC intervenes, telling the man to leave the girl alone and easily defeating him. In the human army, a journal mentions 15 years passing since demons first tried stealing from their world of light. A foolish commander's strategy cost them Aurora Island. The soldiers discuss insulting the Winter King, and MC intervenes, asking them to stop. The commander explains the plan to gather warships from around the world, emphasizing the importance of their victory. The scene shifts to the Crusade of the Holy Gateway, where the girl reveals that returning troops are rowdy and do terrible things, while forces inside the town have higher social status. MC questions if the entire demon world will end up like this if humans win or vice versa. The girl provides information about the Eastern Forest, stating that demons running away always head east. MC finds it useful but wonders what the Demon King would tell him to do in such a situation. The scene shifts as the girl directs MC to a temple, noting that it's a complete mess. She questions why a human, the Demon King's knight, is here. MC explains that he belongs to the Demon King, and the girl apologizes, revealing an old man cursing humans for bringing darkness to the world. MC asserts that losing doesn't grant the winner ownership, and winning doesn't justify doing whatever one pleases. He is proof of that. As the scene shifts to the battle, warships advance, planning to make landfall before dawn. However, a massive monster, resembling an octopus, emerges and engulfs the warships. An enemy attack is announced, and the Winter King urges soldiers not to be defeated easily, focusing on weak points. Arrows are directed at the creature, but it remains unfazed, sinking numerous ships. The Demon King reveals to the knight that her only female companion is the head maid and expresses a desire for a friendship-like connection. However, she struggles with certain actions, feeling like fragments of her will. The knight, understanding the Demon King's position as the prioress of the lakeside convent, unsheathes her sword, indicating her willingness to act in service to the Holy Light Spirit. The Demon King admits to lying and confesses her sins, which the knight acknowledges as forgiven. The knight questions whether being the Demon King is a sin, which the Demon King denies. There's a denial of regret for trying to take the hero from the knight. The knight asserts that the lakeside convent doesn't appreciate annoying rituals, indicating any issues. Meanwhile, MC descends, affirming that the Demon King, despite her title, is not inherently bad and won't break her record. The knight assures the Demon King that she won't betray the hero and suggests they should be friends. The scene transitions to a surprise from Little Maid, who presents a doll of the hero to the Demon King as a New Year's festival gift. The elder also gifts valuable perfume, expressing happiness. The Demon King is touched by the gifts, and the head maid receives an embroidered apron as well. The demons express gratitude for the warm environment provided by the head maid, considering it a daily gift. As the night falls, the maids ask the Demon King if she would be all right, to which the Demon King says that she is not good with crowds. The maid says that in that case, they will be leaving her alone for a short time. As the Demon King walks the stairs, she thinks that it has been a whole year, and she hasn't touched him for a whole year. She hadn't had the chance, even though she belonged to him. As she thinks, she has grown weak, and she is afraid to change the world. She is a demon, and her blood carries the genes for war. Now, she thinks that she is scared to spill the blood. As she hugs down the hero's MC pillow, saying that she is still doing her best and that he is doing that too, MC comes in, saying that sure, he has done well. The Demon King is surprised to see MC there. The Demon King jumps onto MC to thrash him as she hits him countless times with a pillow, asking where in the world he has been in the past year. MC says that he made sure to send her the reports, and those were just for her. The Demon King says that they were just picture diaries, and why didn't he ever come to see her? MC says that he has been busy with Gateway City, and he's trying to figure out how to get things into the Northern Fortress. The Demon King asks why he is doing that, to which MC says that she was the one who ordered it, and she said to stop anything that could do it. The Demon King more than hears him, saying that he could have just used his ultimate destruction magic to take care of them. MC says that he can't because they are all living beings, and they are doing their best every day. They cling to the slimmest hopes, and he can't just destroy them all. He mentions the Fairy Queen, the beautiful forest, the Dragon Princess, the girls, and the girls at the tavern. All of them are trying their hardest, and he can't just destroy them because he's the hero. The Demon King asks if he's just enjoying his popularity with the lead inserted. MC says that's not how it is. The Demon King asks if it is so and if he's sure it's not about it. For which MC says, what about her? And the nobles and rich men in the capital stare at her with love in their eyes. She says to the head that she told him not to tell him about this. MC asks if that happened. The scene transitions to the Demon Castle, where the Demon King mentions seeing the night. The girl explains that she was watching the flaws. In a conference, news arrives that the Winter King has died. The Emperor criticizes the Winter King's failure and lack of pride, dismissing the loss of 200 warships. The Emperor reveals the Winter Prince's involvement with the Lakeside Convent and receives money from the Alliance. The Prince admits to seeking financial support but asserts his plan to retake Aurora Island. He decides to take on the name of the Winter King and dispatch a messenger to find a commander for the upcoming battle. The knight remarked that it was sooner than they expected. The Demon King says that no, it was like that too, and it was during a negotiation. It was like a duel, too. As MC is teary from hearing this, the Demon King says, "What's with that hell?" and calls him a weakling. MC says, "What does she mean by that?" And he has been trying so hard, calling her a flabby Demon King. The Demon King gets angry and asks if he said that just now. She tries to pinch him and says that she has been doing stretches and calisthenics every single day. MC says that she is the Demon King. Why would she waste her time like that? The Demon King says that it's not a waste of time. MC says that she's just dumb. And the Demon King says that he's just an idiot who can't settle down. They hear the music of the New Year's festival as the Demon King says that he just suddenly came back and looked like a mess. MC says that it's fine. The Demon King jumps on the back and tries to avoid MC, saying that she hasn't put any perfume on. MC appears before her, saying that she is always pretty and wonderful, so it's fine. They both get embarrassed as MC gives his hand, saying, "How about a dance?" The Demon King hesitantly hands her as they teleport into the front hall. As they're trying hard to dance, they are having quite a lot of fun. The MC mentions that she smells good, and the Demon King also praises him, saying that his arms are too warm. The MC says it's a present for the new year. The Demon King responds, saying she didn't get anything for him. I said, "Don't worry about it," as he wasn't expecting anything. The Demon King then suggests that if he wants, as his owner, she could reward him. Of course, she still has a lot of useless flesh, so maybe it's more of a punishment than a reward. They both smile as they try to kiss each other, but the music abruptly stops. The Demon King asks if they should go. MC, seeing her, has given him courage, and the Demon King agrees. If he doesn't want to see everyone, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have much time, and the Demon King says not to take too long this time. The MC promises to retake the gate with Steve within a month. Speaking to her gives him an idea. The next time they meet, the Demon King says they will be on the battlefield. She adds that she's going to be by the sea and asks him not to fall behind. The MC declares that he is her sword and her path as he teleports out. The Demon King smiles, saying that he is her light. The maid asks the Demon King, "What is that?" And she, the Demon King, replies that it is the fire arrow. When it hits something, it separates fire and is efficient for long-range attacks. The maid is confused, and the Demon King asks her what's wrong. She then asks the Demon King why war happens and why it doesn't stop, and the Demon King replies that it is a very hard question. She also wonders why it is so. The scene shifts, showing a soldier looking through binoculars at another castle. A superior officer comes and asks how it is. The soldier replies that nothing is unusual and asks how long they are going to be there. The superior officer states that they aren't sure and are preparing for a surprise attack. On the other hand, the Demon King explains to the maid the nature of war as a conflict between two individuals when they meet. The maid refuses to accept that and argues with the Demon King, who tries to make her understand that conflicts are not always war, as the maid says that they can be good friends or supportive relationships. The Demon King replied that, however, that doesn't change the fact of what war is. Suddenly, the maid's sister, the head maid, entered the room. On the other hand, the little maid informs them that they are ready, and then she runs towards the Demon King, asking her where they are going. The Demon King showed her the map, and then the little maid mentioned that the hero would be there also. The scene shifts again, showing 3 soldiers observing many other soldiers lying on the ground. They run away, thinking it must be the work of the dead knight. Suddenly, they are grabbed from the ground, and the MC appears with a scary head in his hand and skulls around him, attempting to scare them. The soldiers cowardly run away, and the MC compliments the little fairies for a job well done before they turn into fairies and disappear. He asks his companion to scare the generals in their dreams and give them the worst nightmares. The scene shifts once more, showing a person sleeping, the commander of the humans. While sleeping, he has a scary dream and wakes up to drink from a jug. A soldier informs him that their forces are afraid of the dead knight. The commander instructs them to take whatever it takes, even the whole army, to kill him. He curses the place and expresses frustration about being in the middle of deadly demons and beasts. The scene shifts to the king and the MC's old companion. They are informed that the Crimson Scholar is here. The Demon King gets up, surprising the Human King. The Demon King explains that she is here to help them win the war. The old man stops her, and at once, the Knight MC companion suspects the old man may have a demonic aura. He then moves towards the Demon King and tells her that he needs to check her and the knight breaks a jug of wine on the old man's head. The Demon King greets the king, and the Demon King questions the king's motive to retake Aurora Island. He replies that he wants to reclaim their pride and trading routes, freeing themselves from the organization of the Central Nation. The Demon King mentions she has a plan for that. The scene shifts, showing people digging rods into the ice, roping it, and pulling the ice, collecting it on a single plane. They fill the gaps with salt and water while being careful not to be seen, following commands to maintain caution. The scene then shifts again when the Demon King provides them with 6 cards of salt. The old man is surprised and asks what she wants in return. She asks for a complete day before engaging in the war, explaining that she has to do something that can't be attained through victory. The scene shifts again, showing the general of the demons being informed that humans are coming. The soldier tells his general that humans are not fighting at sea but on land. The humans, led by a knight, approach the demons with high spirits, and a fierce battle ensues. The demons are being pushed back and receiving a huge hit from humans. In the evening, the knights return to the tent and report to the king, stating that they have so far been successful. There are approximately 8,000 soldiers in the fortress, and their general is waiting for them. It may be a long, daring battle. Everyone is shocked by the report, and the knight looks towards the Demon King, asking if she has a plan. She replies yes, and a soldier comes in, reporting that a large number of forces are coming towards the battlefield. The old man asks if the force belongs to the demons, and the Demon King says it is part of their plan. A large number of forces are teleported into the area. The scene shifts to a territory where a man is running downward. Another man calls him out, asking if he is leaving the area now. He replies that he isn't leaving but is going to reinforce on Aurora Island. The other man questions him, stating that there are a lot of civilians. He accuses them of being traitors for being friends with the demons. The person gets angry and grabs him by the collar. Then the man says that he is now the commander of this territory. He tells him that if he wants to protect something, he should protect it. Someone else approaches, saying it's a lot quiet now, and they need to call for emergency governance. The commander now announces that it is not human territory, but human and demon territory. The scene shifts again, and a soldier informs them that demon soldiers are trying to stop their soldiers from reinforcing. The Human King is shocked, saying that this is their last chance. The knight says that the crusade, as reinforcement, is the best force in the demon realm. Suddenly, someone teleports in, and it is none other than the hero. The old man, the knight, and the Demon King are shocked, and the knight hugs her. Suddenly, they receive shocking news, as the soldier is informed that a large demon has arrived, and it is said to be the Ice General. The Demon King expresses disappointment that the demons retaliated with such a massive casualty. MC, however, believes they can still fight as they have faith in something. The knight interjects, saying that she will be the one to fight, a final request from a warrior and a general. She challenges the Ice General, and a furious battle ensues. The knight throws everything she has, but the Ice General breaks through. But then Knight defeats him by landing a final strike. He then acknowledges her sportsmanship and falls, dying. The soldiers celebrate the victory, and the knight instructs them to regain their momentum and focus on searching throughout the island. The Demon King and MC observe the scene, with the Demon King feeling sad. MC comforts her, grabbing her by the shoulders and providing a warm hug. In the castle, the king hosts a party, expressing gratitude to his people for their efforts. He mentions the difficulty of defending and rebuilding Arizona Island, but he is determined to do it. The celebration is attributed to the Crimson Scholar and the Knight, and a toast is made in their honor. The party continues, and MC watches from the castle. The old man approaches him, apologizing for the isolation he may feel due to his strength. MC disagrees, stating that the old man taught him many things, including about women's bodies. They continue their conversation, and the old man says that he is working hard to make the world a better place, so MC won't have to feel isolated. MC appreciates the sentiment and is welcomed back by the old man. MC confirms that he has indeed come back. The maid writes a letter, stating that although it's a little sad when the spring marking the end of summer comes, she still likes it because it brings the smells of the upcoming harvest. She writes that today, like many other days, the mistress is happily spending the day with her, and she's glad she hasn't run into any problems while the maid has been away. As for the female knight, she had no training to do today, but she showed up anyway. There has been a real change in the atmosphere in this country since the young Winter King's ascent to the throne. Numerous refugees and slaves freed from their masters volunteered to join the army. The king seeks to end the corruption that has run rampant and works to move the economy in the right direction. The Demon King's student has a job at the place she wonders about. She wonders if he's working hard because people smile a lot more now. The Winter Prince is nice, but she is still suffering. The scene shifts to the night, and the MC is having a friendly spar. As the MC teleports throughout the fight, he says that all is fair in battle and comments on swinging the blade. The knight says not to treat her like a child as she grabs the MC by the collar, and he winces. She says that because she's fighting him, she will give it all she's got. As they move to cool them down, the knight gets undressed, which makes MC embarrassed. The knight teases MC by rubbing soap around his head, saying that if they don't wash him, he will end up like a big, shaggy dog. After that, the knight thinks that this country is great at the end of the summer, and soon the chestnuts will be ripe. She wishes things could stay like this. MC agrees, but the knight says it can't go on this way. They should settle who is the wife and who is the mistress. The MC says it won't be long before the demons make a move. The knight agrees, stating that the war is currently at a stalemate, but there is no guarantee it will stay that way. MC says she told him that with overwhelming military power, they could end this war, but they would never extinguish the flames of conflict that way. The knight admires the Demon King's efforts to save both humans and demons, acknowledging her greatness. As MC smiles, the knight expresses her humility compared to the Demon King. MC, in turn, asks what makes the knight amazing, and she humorously shares her experience of practicing cutting a full demon into 3 cm slices. The knight emphasizes the need to improve the quality of life for peasants, and MC acknowledges that all he can do is fight. The knight appreciates both of them, expressing gratitude. The little maid stumbles upon MC, excitedly talking about the magical orange water she created using well water. MC, confused, questions the concoction, and the Demon King reveals that she cooled it with well water, showcasing her resourcefulness. The Demon King suggests that the maid should try the drink, and as MC tries it, he praises the maid for developing it based on information from the demon about the carbonated spring. The Demon King commends the maid's potential as a great cook. The maid happily notes her increased cheerfulness, and MC recalls their first meeting when she was shy and hiding behind her sister's skirt. The Demon King remarks on their collective amazing qualities. The Demon King informs MC about a meeting with Gateway City's council the next day, and the knight confirms that he will represent the Demon King as a Black Knight. The Demon King advises MC to return promptly after the meeting, warning him about the dragon Oro. MC mentions Oro's recent helpfulness, especially through his daughter, the Dragon Princess. The Demon King hesitates, alluding to a potential issue, but assures MC that he just needs to return straight after the meeting. MC agrees, but he mentions that there's a festival on Main Street, as suggested by the Eastern Forest General. Unusual but inexpensive foods, pretty lights, musicians, magicians, and attempts to bring demons and humans together are planned. Both human merchants and demons are still on edge, but the Eastern general has a good reputation with both sides. The scene shifts to a group judgment, where a man is announced to have run from the fight like a coward, abandoning Gate City and costing many lives. He's accused of betraying the hopes of all 95 million citizens of the light separates. This is considered the greatest sin imaginable. The man tries to convince them, stating that out of 9,000 troops stationed in the city, 8,000 went to the fight at Aurora Island. The man's argument doesn't hold, and he is sentenced to jail. The scene shifts to the market, where MC and the Eastern Forest General are getting some booze and spending quality time together. The general comments on biting into a burnt tart with a soft inside. The dragon princess arrives, angry and claiming to be the Black Knight's wife. MC corrects her, but she insists he's her husband. MC tries to clarify, but the princess insists he's adorable and tries to hug him. The Demon King senses a signal, and the land shakes, scaring the villagers. The headmaid announces it's the 6th of the month, and the Demon King realizes they may need to put things into motion sooner than expected. The scene shifts as MC, the Demon King, and the girl are transported. The Demon King comments on the humid air in the Iron Country and asks the girl to take a deep breath, revealing that they are in the Iron Country. She mentions a workshop there that has completed a prototype she asked them to make. MC questions why the girl is coming with them, to which the Demon King explains that she has been teaching her work recently and that she is more capable than any noble or general. The girl believes that education will prove to be the most powerful force in the world. In their vast world, people attempt to define it based on their knowledge and experiences, thinking they know best. The Demon King emphasizes the importance of education, as without it, people cannot understand how ignorant they are. The girl acknowledges this, realizing that there are things they don't even know could make their lives better. She reflects on her own life, thinking there was no way she could have led a comfortable life, and it takes a great deal of time to change one's circumstances. The Demon King adds that it takes a great deal of time for a person to share all they know, especially when trying to share it with many people. The girl emphasizes the preciousness of knowledge and doubts there is any way to fix it. As they reach the blacksmith, MC observes the huge shop and asks about the strange contraption. The Demon King explains that it looks like a thrashing machine with many blocks. The man reveals that he put on these stamps, called printing types, and introduces their new weapon, the printing press. As MC processes this information, he expresses amazement, realizing they can produce thousands of these in a single day. As he tries to process it, he begins to doze off. As the knight is walking to MC's room, she catches the Demon King attempting to sneak into MC's room. Flustered and angry, the knight questions her presence, asking what she's doing there. The Demon King retorts by asking the same question and wonders what the knight thinks she's doing, even holding a pillow. The knight defends herself, stating that she brought tea for MC, and that's what she's having. The Demon King challenges her choice, questioning who holds a tea party in a man's room while wearing silk pajamas and calling her an idiot. The knight retorts, pointing out the irony in the situation, given that the Demon King claims to be there for a party without holding a pillow. Tensions rise, and both parties get angry, but the Demon King intervenes, urging them to stop. The knight reveals that she considered the Demon King her only friend in the human world. The Demon King acknowledges this, and as the knight insists on holding onto her claim, the Demon King asks to let her go. The knight refuses, citing her reasons, and hands over a handkerchief, swearing her undying loyalty. She explains that the dragon princess sent it to the hero, who didn't know what to do, so he offered it to the light spirit. That's when she swiped it, and now she can't give up on it. The Demon King steps forward, stating that it doesn't count and that she only has a few more days. The knight suggests she can't allow that, and the headmaid says to stop arguing. All three can have a good time, and the ghost pushes both girls into MC's room. MC wakes up, questioning what they are doing there. The Demon King asks the knight what to do, and she says she doesn't know. The Demon King suggests negotiating a solution. She will take the bed, and the knight will take the floor. As they argue about Hero, the Demon King proposes a timeshare solution. They can use Hero's bed during the day, and she will take it tonight. The knight protests and MC falls asleep. They both run towards him, deciding that he can't have it now. They finally come to a solution, fluffing around MC's hair as he feels embarrassed. They settle on sharing the same bed, giggling about who knows MC better and promising to share their embarrassing moments later. The Demon King suggests that next week she will probably go back to the demon realm, something like renewing her Demon King's license. The knight asks if she needs to be the Demon King, to which she replies yes. She hopes it won't take more than a few months. She explains that she must visit the resting place of the previous Demon Kings and unify the demons, as some tribes may lose control and restart hostilities. Most tribes in the demon realm want to invade this world. The knight questions if it would be dangerous and suggests taking someone with her. The Demon King clarifies that only she can enter that place, and the handmaid will accompany her. That's why she wanted to feel MC's warmth a little before leaving. She assures MC that she'll leave notes about what needs to be done and has given the details to older sister Mid to take care of the hero. The knight swears by her sword that she'll see it done. On the following day, as the Demon King prepares to leave, MC wonders if he should accompany her. She discloses that the White Knight's country is in turmoil, and based on MC's actions in Gateway City, she recognizes him as more than a simple warrior, almost like another version of herself. She entrusts him with leadership and gives a ring from the Earth Fairies to the elder sister, allowing her to change her appearance when needed for trade meetings or other responsibilities. As the Demon King teleports away, MC expresses his concern, and they exchange hopeful words for their future reunion. The scene shifts to a castle, and an upset man enters, reporting to the Emperor. The man, having lost an eye, recounts how the darkness took it and expresses his determination to seek revenge on the Eastern Forest General and the demons. The Emperor suggests they've been mocked, similar to the young man in the Winter Country, and the man vows to make them taste the ultimate shame and humiliation. The Empress declares that the Winter King's kingdom will scatter through the winds. The scene shifts to the castle as the merchant arrives. The little maid, wearing an angry expression, brings him tea. The merchant thanks her, and the maid, appearing nervous, denies being so. As she serves the tea, the Demon Kings apologize for keeping him waiting. The elder sister, disguised as the Demon King, inquires about the purpose of the merchant's visit. He explains that he brought the balance sheets and documents in person, deviating from the usual practice of sending them by ship. The Demon King is at a loss for words, and the merchant suggests she got changed. He acknowledges the opening of new trade routes after the retaking of Aurora Island and warns about counterfeiters. He expresses a desire to see the real Demon King. The elder maid is shocked, but MC intervenes, telling the maid that she can leave as he already knows. He reveals the ring as the maid apologizes to the merchant and explains that it wasn't their intention to deceive him. The merchant understands the importance of appearances in negotiations and is impressed that he wasn't fooled. MC admits that he thought the merchant had forgotten about him, referencing their contract for a banquet with hot, busty girls upon his return. The merchant expresses happiness at seeing MC doing well and notes the changes in his demeanor. They discuss the nature of change when faced with something significant and agree that people can change the world. MC teleports the merchant to a circle and then to another location, causing teleportation sickness. They arrive in a place where rainbows appear in the sky. The MC jokes about having the banquet there and teleports them once again. The merchant is surprised by teleportation magic, and MC explains that they are now in the demon realm. MC expresses belief in the merchant because of his words and brings him to the demon realm. The merchant realizes the truth about the Demon King's identity. MC explains that Gateway City, previously occupied by soldiers, is now a place where humans and demons coexist peacefully. The population is around 32,000, which is larger than the Lake Country's capital. The humans and demons gossip about the safety of the contact re-establishment with the human world. MC recognizes them as part of the Alliance, highlighting that this is currently the only place where humans and demons coexist. The king recognizes it as a neutral territory. It has its own governing body, and a third of the representatives are humans. MC says that he is one of those representatives for the demons, and he is her representative. As he teleports on, the merchant asks why he is doing this, and it's incredibly dangerous, to which MC says that he would be lonely if he went back to being just a hero. From the back, the dragon princess comes in, saying that she has come in answer to his call. She swears with the pride of the fire dragons that they will give their guest, his guest, the finest banquet possible. As merchant says, go easy on him. The same shifters as MC and the merchant are having a banquet, and the dragon princess asks the merchant if he can have to ensure the cup is overflowing or if it doesn't count. As she pours on, the merchant says that he doesn't even care anymore. MC asks what he is thinking, and he says that she does. The merchant looks at her dupes, and the merchant says that it is pretty nice, as they are lying after the banquet. The MC praises the beauty of rainbows during this time and engages in a conversation with a merchant about a gate. The merchant likens the gate to an orcish creation with a golden fruit essence. When the MC, using his authority, offers to sell the gate to the merchant, the latter inquires about the terms of the transaction. The MC notes the stereotype that merchants are often perceived as profit-focused monsters, but he observes a different side in the current merchant, suggesting that perhaps merchants seek things beyond the conventional metrics of gain and loss. He invites the merchant to show him those intangible aspects, making it the price of the transaction. The scene transitions to the Demon Tomb as the Demon King returns. The Demon King reveals having left a message at the outer library and discusses the increasing magical energy concentration. The ancient Demon Kings become restless, and they contemplate the stability of a seal. The Demon King decides to enter a giant tomb alone. while the head maid pledges to slay her if she emerges changed. The setting shifts to a castle, where a knight expresses devotion to the MC. Having received a blessing from the spirit in Lake Country, she offers her soul and sword to him. The MC, surprised by her commitment, questions her decision. The knight, emphasizing her desire to be near him on their journey, hands over her sword, pledging eternal loyalty. The MC accepts her devotion, claiming her sword, body, and soul, leaving her with a sense of fulfillment. As MC says, it comes within a 1-week cooling-off period, and she can get out of the contract, for which the knight asks what he believes. As the scene shifts, the little maid and the elder maid are talking with the villagers. One of them mentions that, thanks to the scholar's help, they have plenty of animals for the winter. It's the first time they've ever had enough to eat in the winter after paying their taxes. They owe a lot to the head maid, who brought them soup and warm clothes. All the settlers and servants are grateful to her. The maid mentions that she dislikes insects, and the man replies that she taught them how to make herbal remedies. Last winter, not even one person died of a cold, and the village has changed. The scene shifts to the castle, where 2 horses approach them. Seeing the flags, it is reported by a messenger that, as he announces to the king that he is a faithful servant of the light, the Winter King should know full well that the holiness is unfriendly to the winter. The messenger asks him to mobilize his army, and if he allows them to escape, he may be declared a blasphemer himself. The Winter King can't believe this is happening because of elections. The merchant admits he didn't see this coming, and something terrible has happened, causing quite a bit of turmoil. Meanwhile, MC and Knight, along with the maids, are having a good time. MC mentions that she has become a great chef. The little maid says she won't have to go back to being a serf anymore, and she looks towards her elder sister. The elder sister pats her head as MC asks her what she wants to be. The little sister says her elder sister wants to be like glasses. Suddenly, there's a huge knock on the door, and the Winter Prince has come upon them. They discuss that the scholar is considered a heretic, and the potato is deemed a demon crop. The new agricultural methods introduced are seen as evil and against the teachings of the light spirit. Her teachings exclude the church, making the Crimson Scholar a heretic who must be handed over immediately. The knight can't believe they're using the light spirit as an excuse for petty schemes. MC says that it will be at least 2 months before the scholar comes back, which is why she left the realm. If she were here, she would find a solution. As the butler mentions the use of illusion, MC insists they can't allow it. He approaches the Winter Prince, saying he's sorry, but he won't let them arrest her. Once she's out of the winter country, he will save her. If he can hand her over and she leaves the country, he can't be held responsible for what happens. The knight says that once again he will be doing it, and going against the church will cause problems. The butler is forced to leave MC alone again, and this time MC mentions having a couple of people with him. The scholar will be back soon enough, not in public, but he will still see the Winter Prince again. The knight decides to go with him, and MC says she has a place she needs to protect. The Winter Prince suggests sacrificing himself in her stead, but MC says not to let it get them down. He plans to leave with the knight. The little maid comes in, asking if they're moving. She asks her sister about the promise to teach the hunters how to make pie. The sister pats her head, saying it's unfortunate, but they need to do it. The knight says he could wipe out the Holy Capital's entire army single-handedly, but MC won't let him. While fighting and winning doesn't mean taking, he won't let them take anything from him, so he is leaving. As discussed, the Central Nations have made their move. Believing that to regain some of their dwindling influence, they've done it. The Church is planning a third Holy Crusade, and the one man the Central Nations can still influence, the White Knight King, was, after his catastrophic defeat, all but dethroned. Then, the Winter King heroically appeared, swaying the people to his side, just as the Crimson Scholar's actions netted them surplus food supplies. With their guard dog free of its chains, the church must be panicking. The companion asks the merchant what they should do, to which the merchant suggests that if the alliance is to take any action, a new Council of 10 must first be formed. Their friend enters, mentioning that a diplomat from the ice country is here. The man enters, and the merchant asks if he would be willing to send them assistance. He mentions the Bard country, where song and dance reign supreme, making him uniquely qualified. The merchant instructs him to put a stop to whatever the Council of 10 is doing and gather information about them. If he needs any assistance, he should ask. The man acknowledges, stating that he's attempting to buy time. The merchant agrees, saying he will not ask for victory but only time, which aligns with what the master, the Crimson Scholar, desires. The man accepts the proposal, even though his skills are only good for dancing and spreading hearsay. The merchant affirms that they will be heading into battle on their way. The scene shifts to the plaza as the people express their doubts about the Crimson Scholar being a heretic. MC descends the tower, noting the chaos. The knight mentions that the people love the Crimson Scholar, and what they say is the truth. The maid shares how the villagers praise her and her sister, offering gifts and expressing gratitude. The elder maid reflects on the sadness of saying goodbye as the bell rings. MC suggests they should get going, and the knight expresses frustration at having to listen to a lecture from a slick-tongued messenger. She reassures the maid not to be afraid, and they'll see each other again. The maid is given a ring, and MC promises to keep an eye on the immediate vicinity. The head maid tries to tell MC something but stops, claiming it's nothing. MC asks her to trust him and wait as he descends the stairs. The maid thinks about it as she questions why she is so powerless and can't do anything as she falls and cries, and the scene shifts. As the people express concern about the increasing number of forces from surrounding regions, the message circulates that the messenger will arrive soon, bringing more guards. The army and the kids are present, and the king, born as the third child of 7 siblings. Her brother died after breaking his arm in the fields. Her sister was summoned by the landowner and never returned. Another sibling died from smallpox. Only she and her youngest sister survived, given a chance while on the run. Despite the kindness shown to her, she struggled with doubt, feeling inferior as a human. As MC teleports onto the tower, she declares her humanity, emphasizing that the first step to being human is acknowledging oneself. She expresses doubt in her bloodline and self-worth, stating that she is just an insect inferior to humans. She asserts her humanity, believing it is proven by feeling warmth in one's heart and finding happiness in simple acts of kindness. The messenger interrupts her, dismissing her words as insufficient and forcefully crashing into the girl, declaring whatever she said is unconstitutional. The demon passionately speaks as a human to whom Winter's Passage Village has given much. She implores everyone never to cease wishing, hoping, thinking, and working for miracles. The light she brought through Earth's blessing has bestowed wealth and freedom, emphasizing the freedom to strive and be better every day. She reminds them that humans weren't created as perfect beings by the Spirit. Rather, they were granted the freedom to improve themselves daily, bringing joy. She urges against relinquishing that freedom for the sake of convenience, emphasizing that separate gifts are treasures beyond the reach of even kings in the church. Despite the messenger's attempts to interrupt and strike her down, the demon asserts her humanity. She vows never to surrender these treasures, refusing to revert to being an insect, regardless of the pain she must endure. She claims the right to stand against injustice due to the kindness shown to her. As the messenger tries to brand her a heretic and incite the crowd to stone her, the demon argues against mindlessly sacrificing the precious gifts granted by the Spirit. She despises those who abandon their treasures, considering them mindless insects. As the girl falls, the people retaliate by throwing stones at the messenger, heavily rocking him. The merchant, angered and driven back, labels the people as brainless peasants and enemies of the church. The knight and the Winter King ignore his pleas. The messenger orders his guard to cut off the girl's head, but the attempt is thwarted by the king, rescuing her. The messenger questions these actions, and the prince confronts him, expressing shame for blindly following the central nations. The knight disapproves of the church's sinful actions, emphasizing the freedom to sin as another gift. The prince declares the country's protection for the Crimson Scholar, recognizing her as a saint. The public supports her, denouncing the messenger and his guards and demanding they leave. The messenger vows they will regret this and warns of consequences for disobeying the light spirit's children. MC is bewildered by the turn of events, and the scene shifts as a man questions why his gaze is fixed upon this girl, claiming to be the one who will eventually rule the world. The scene shifts as MC reassures the maid, praising her for the incredible feat of forcing an entire army to withdraw with her words. The scene shifts to the castle. In summary, by accepting her speech, they have picked a fight with the central nations. The king, the maid, and the knight apologize, but MC reassures them, praising the marvelous speech. The knight points out that the southern nations are now so impassioned that they are close to rebelling against the landowners. The real problem lies in the drastic changes her speech has initiated, with people desiring independence. The question they face is how the royalty will respond. A woman suggests freeing the serfs and standing beside their people, thanks to the surplus food from the potato. The prince acknowledges the truth but expresses concerns about outright defiance against the central nations, fearing it could lead to war and the destruction of their nation. Another man adds that an immediate attack is unlikely, and even if it were, it would take at least 6 months for the central nations to assemble a unified force. MC expresses his frustration, not understanding the true objectives of the central nations, the church, or the king. They discuss the central nation's desire to gather wealth, not just monetary wealth, but all knowledge, respect, and power. 250 by the end of next week. They discuss 12 more countries joining, making it 218. MC expresses surprise, expecting more. A woman suggests using songs to spread their teachings, compensating peasants for singing about the new teaching. The mate raises concerns about the church labeling them as liars, but the woman proposes explaining the benefits of coming to their nation. The king commands her level-headed appraisal. The scene shifts to the merchant discussing market responses. Nobles and merchants are responding well, and some are even liquidating. Overseas farm overseers are growing nervous, but few are willing to sell, and sufficient money is offered. The merchant describes a product purchase agreement, paying in advance to purchase future wheat crops. With the central nations calling the southern nations heretics, the merchant sees a good probability of war. Even if not, as long as people want to eat, they will create artificial scarcity to keep prices high. The merchant plans to move the alliance's headquarters to the lakeside convent, near the southern triad, preparing for the next step. The narrative shifts to the king receiving news of the depletion of Aurora Island's rock salt supply, a significant setback. The dragon princess reveals that one of the humans in Eastern Photogen is involved, and there are rumors of a clandestine agreement between AZ demons and humans in Gateway City. The market's focus suddenly shifts to the discussion of wheat prices, specifically lower quality wheat priced at 6.5 silver. Despite its imperfections, like bugs and a coarse grind, this wheat is still considered good. The conversation centers around 25 bags of this wheat, which is unusually affordable today. An individual expresses interest in purchasing some at the current price, questioning if it was initially priced at 6.5. The shopkeeper attributes the recent high demand, noting that a week ago, it was priced at 4 silvers per bag. There's speculation in town that prices will surge to $15 silver next week. The shopkeeper suggests holding onto the wheat instead of an immediate sale, given the rapidly escalating prices, 65 points above the normal average, with a weekly increase of 9 points for horses. Meanwhile, the merchant advises focusing on selling wheat purchase agreements to larger landholders. 3 counselors supporting the central church resist the sale, aiming to keep them inactive for 2 weeks. The merchant, using the Black Hand, urges secrecy. A letter is sent to the Demon King's stents, reporting the Holy Capital's strange developments, such as rapid increases in green prices like wheat, rice, and meat. Rising rice prices affect beans and chestnuts. Landholders, obligated to sell at low prices, face bankruptcy fears, prompting closures by green merchants and bakers. Nobility suspects foul play. The prince asks who is behind it, and the man reveals prices rising across central nations, predicting unprecedented inflation. To counteract, they plan tariffs and taxes on exports, particularly wheat, when leaving the southern triangle. Any attempt to transport wheat or potatoes incurs a 10 gold tax per wagon. The man emphasizes the necessity of this strategy to protect the country's economy, with the commanding general being the Ashan king of the 4 countries. It is asked that they be there immediately. He says that he has plenty of money, and if he buys 1,000 more missionaries, more men than even the Ashan king retains, the high priest will remember him, as he could just become a count now. The merchant thinks about how the southern triad will respond, expecting great things. He sees a strange woman who turns out to be the dragon princess, who scares the merchant as he takes her in. The princess says it formed her right up, and she came to meet him. The merchant asks how she found him, to which she says it was the hero. She realized that this was her task, so she kept it a secret from her lord. A passing mage used detection magic to tell her where he was. The merchant says that there goes all he thought he knew about the world. He asks what she requires, to which she says salt, as the merchant asks how much she needs, and she says as much as they need. This too, as the merchant says, is rather vague. The princess responds that's why she has come here in person, as he's the only one capable of filling in the demon realm. Salt is a valuable commodity, and she would like him to spare some. She prays on the table, saying that the wine warms her right down from her tail, and it is a miracle as she discovered on her way here. The merchant says it's her horns, to which the dragon says that some were suspicious, but as soon as she used her charms on them, they all let her go. The merchant remembers the MC's words, saying that she may be the one who can lead him to those things. She thinks that there is too much they do not know about each other. The scene shifts. The head maid once questioned the Demon King about her decision to go to a place where she'd enter the underground tomb, warning of the old Demon Kings taking over her mind and body. The Demon King clarified that they wouldn't take over but rather alter, with irreversible changes once completed. She assured me that despite the alteration, she would remain herself, even as she aged. The head maid found it all distressing, but the Demon King reassured her, explaining that the process would take time. She planned to enter the underground palace briefly and then leave. Concerned, the head maid pointed out that without gaining the Demon King's combat prowess through the process, ruling the demon realm would be challenging. The Demon King, however, expressed her desire to avoid violence and meet her fate. She showed the head maid a book featuring a human boy, the future hero, a singular figure in the world. In about 15 years, he would become remarkable, although he would attempt to kill her once he became the hero. The Demon King hoped to meet him and perhaps have a friendly encounter before that. She fantasized about stroking his black hair, imagining its fluffiness. The head maid dismissed these thoughts, suggesting the Demon King might have lost her mind. The Demon King, however, believed it to be her only chance to experience an unseen future, read a story not within the library, and ultimately meet her fate. As it is announced that this is an official declaration of war that arrived this morning, the church has also sent a letter of excommunication. The tariffs they have imposed mean the greens they were relying upon are no longer available. And this declaration of war is a result. MC asks when the war will be, to which it is said that the first month of winter, on the 4th day of the rabbit, will be upon the northern fields in 10 days. MC says that he doesn't want to fight, and this can't be what she wants. He thinks that this is not how it ends, and he screams that she isn't here when she is needed most. He thinks about what lies beyond, that is the path. He thinks about an idea and tells the king that if a war breaks out, how long can they fight without casualties? He doesn't want anyone to die. Not on their side or theirs, and it's not necessary for what must happen. The king says that it will depend on the weather. If they are fortunate, snow will fall in the next 2 weeks. He stands up, saying that he shall accept the task, and he swears upon his name. In the merchant's room, urgent discussions about purchasing bags ensue. The dragon princess is bewildered by the commotion, learning that the church is imploring the holy capital to introduce a new currency. The proposed exchange rate is 28 old gold for 10 new gold, but both possessing and using the old currency will be prohibited. Additionally, there are plans to produce more new gold than necessary, creating 5,000 new gold for every 10,000 old gold. The suggestion arises that, through this exchange rate, the government could profit by 4,000 gold, measured by the old standard. While seen as a clever scheme, doubts linger about whether it can sustain its success. As the scene shifts to the battlefield, the Ashan king gathers soldiers, knights, and archers from various territories, totaling 654 forces. The king inquires about the enemy's whereabouts, learning they are few, possibly hesitating to gather their forces due to fear. The Ashan king reveals he has brought in 400 veterans, paying them well for their services. Reports confirm that dinner is prepared, and local landowners have donated barrels of strong alcohol, causing concern about the mercenaries trampling fields. Inside the castle, discussions revolve around maintaining a robust defensive formation while awaiting snowfall. The knights express concerns about confronting a sizable force of at least 20,000 troops from the central nations, leading the prince to target a muster of 4,500. The knight emphasizes the need to minimize casualties. Simultaneously, reports from the southern ice suggest a potential demon threat of at least 1,500. As tensions heighten, the prince wonders if something significant has occurred. A message from the southern ice is received, mentioning demons, but they can't be sure. A long-distance estimate suggests at least 1,500. The knight wonders if something has happened to the Demon King, to which MC says it's not her fault. The king apologizes, stating they don't have any troops to spare. MC says he will take care of it himself, expressing a reluctance to fight against the demon. The king emphasizes the need to avoid a war on 2 fronts. MC expresses gratitude and introduces the financial minister, apologizing for the late visit. They recognize him as the one who has been playing a game that spans the entire country's internet. The student suggests meeting him in person if he were in that position. The discussion covers 4 matters: an exclusive exemption from the tariff for the alliance, land rights for Aurora Island, permission to establish banks and facilities, and the purchase of the entire stock of potatoes. The man mentions the Inquisition banning potatoes, and the merchants smile, thinking about the stability of food product values. As MC is traveling, he apologizes, stating that he's just a hero, so he couldn't find a place for it to end. He will want to see it too, with a female knight, an old man, the king, the maid sisters, the head mage, the gateway city, southern nations, and everyone in Winter's Past village. He wants the central nations and the demons to see it too, because all he does is destroy and kill without creating anything. As he stops, he recognizes the demons, who are equipped for long-distance travel, and they have transport too. He thinks that if he's going to make them withdraw, that's what needs to be taken out. From above, a mage comes in, saying that he is included, and the scene shifts into a castle in the demon tomb. The doors open, and the Demon King comes out, saying that she's so hungry and tired, and that was awful. The head maid asks what's wrong, and the Demon King says that it's okay now, let's go back. The maid asks where the Demon King says to be on the battlefield. As the head maid releases her ghost but is easily defeated by the Demon King's scream, she screams about what she's doing, calling her an insect. The head maid says that she's not an insect, and the Demon King says that she will see once she has crashed flat on the floor. The person she knows would never love it so crudely. As the Demon King tries to slash it, the handmaid says that she is not her master, intellectual, logical, calm, clinical, and coldly realistic, but with a cute smile. She's her master, lazy, hates to change or wash her clothes, and can neither cook nor clean. She is the one she chose, her destiny. The Demon King prays that her strength is beyond that of a fang pie, Yet she matches her, and she's still a mere demon. She went easy on her in the hopes that she might serve her. She asks her to die as the maid's arms are chopped off. The mage asks where he has been, and she says that a communication channel has been established. As she closes in on the distance, she says that she has never, and MC says that he has never gotten used to it. The mage says that the Demon King is waiting, and the MC says that it's all right to destroy it, for which the mage says that she needs him. The discussion between the instructor and the merchant revolves around using wheat as a form of pseudo-currency and investing it in the Southern Triad to establish a single international market. The goal is to prevent inflation and increase competitiveness by implementing a dual currency system. The merchant sees an opportunity in the weak economy of the Central nations and expresses willingness to invest in emerging markets with growth potential, including opening trade relations with demons. The Dragon Princess, representing Gateway City, where humans and demons coexist, supports the idea. As she prepares to teleport everyone, she mentions using time stretch and multiple magics to save up spells. MC, witnessing the magic, thinks she might be losing control. MC launches a wide-range thunderbolt attack to destroy the transport gate, causing significant destruction. Soldiers prepare for the enemy's approach, strategizing to counter their mobility. Traps and showering arrows effectively neutralize the enemy forces, splitting their units and dealing with them decisively. Meanwhile, preparations for defense are made along the riverside, strategically placing trees to create a more effective defense. The Central Nations Army organizes a conference, detailing their forces and strategies, including the treatment of wounded soldiers. As the one-eyed enemy commander charges toward the maid sisters, the general orders them to rest before sending them on patrol. The scene shifts as MC enters the lower level and confronts the head maid, who insists that the Demon King is corrupted by evil spirits. The Demon King attacks MC, who barely manages to block her assault. The scene shifts to the castle as the mage is sleeping, and the butler asks about the presence of one of the legendary heroes. He inquires about her activities and whereabouts, questioning if she met the MC. She explains that she went to the demon realm, and more importantly, the Crimson Scholar gave her orders to relay. The king asks if she knows the scholar, to which she responds that she doesn't. She informs them about the ongoing war and proposes using livestock of the Artiodactyla to deliberately infect patients with a less dangerous version of the virus, inducing immunity to all related forms. The king requests a simpler explanation, and she suggests exterminating smallpox, surprising everyone. The mage claims that the accuracy disease kills 3 million people a year and explains the plan to treat the citizens and achieve immunity for 7 years. The king is skeptical, but the mage assures him she has the details. The king sees the potential for change and suggests a ceasefire, prompting the mage to mention she's a demon, leading to a sleepy stumble and clarification about bridging the gap between humans and demons. The scene shifts to people praying and a little maid hoping for no war. Her sister consoles her, referring to a hero's words about holding on until the snow falls. The Winter Kingdom girl operates a machine, and the eye-patched man villain appears. Meanwhile, MC confronts the Demon King, warning her not to give her life away. The Demon King unleashes her attack, claiming the world will be hers. MC refuses, stating that the world doesn't belong to her. He asserts that her body belongs to him and hugs the demon, telling her to wake up. The outburst of mana is neutralized, and MC remarks on the Demon King's consciousness returning. The general realizes the eye-patched man is in the building. The elder maid asks the man to release her sister, but he demands an apology from the light spirit. She refuses, and the man kicks her, emphasizing the blade's judgment. The sword is thrown at him, and he asks who the thrower is. The man introduces himself as a soldier. The scene shifts as the head maid is treated by MC. As the Demon King asks if it worked, MC replies that there probably won't be any side effects. A lot is happening back on the surface, and he wonders where to start. The Demon King suggests wherever he'd like and tells her everything. The scene shifts to the battlefield, where soldiers discuss how they taste bean soup and steel bread crust. The price of green has risen, and though the army packs plenty of money, there's not much food. Discussion arises about transporting money being easier and more efficient, causing panic among the nobles who realize money alone can't put food on the table. The Winter Kingdom started the war with the Southern Triad, which still has food. Someone wonders why they aren't attacking, and it's revealed that something has happened. At the command headquarters, they argue over who will receive the southern territories once they fall. The high priest is present, and they plan to settle things. The general reports to the knight that they haven't decided when to commence the battle. A few mercenaries have attacked on their own, prompting an immediate defense. The knight plans to hide out, fearing a prolonged battle might give the central soldiers an excuse to attack with top-class equipment. The scene shifts to a soldier battling the one-eyed man. The one-eyed man shares thoughts on protecting things one can't see, and a physical confrontation ensues. The soldier attempts a sword attack, but the one-eyed man blocks with his steel-wrapped wrist. The one-eyed man dismisses the tricks, but the general chokes him and throws him through the pit. As the mission approaches, the knight decides to charge when they meet. A large-scale battle takes place, and the report on the enemy side mentions tired horses. The captain realizes they've divided their forces, which is confusing. The enemy army splits again, and the general informs the knight that they are being followed. The knight decides to head to the dividing point, having fragmented the enemy force enough. The scene shifts to the one-eyed man, who confirms he's dead. The little maid asks about a soldier, and he responds that he is here, having barely hung on. The scene shifts back to the battlefield as the knight assembles the soldiers. They regroup into a single unit, planning to attack again by unseating the enemy with their horses. As it starts snowing, they anticipate reinforcement, the strongest they could hope for. In the church, discussion continues about claiming to be the Demon King's mightiest army. The priest silences them, stating that everything has been foreseen and that the rise in prices is caused by the errands. The merchants are criticized for not seeing beyond their desires, and when their own goal is reached, they will have the Southern Triad's territory as promised. The prince declares his intention to rule it as he sees fit. The general question is whether he will continue playing the church's eternal enemy, to which the prince asserts his rule and the necessity for the church to remain united. He proposes raising the Third Crusade of the Holy Key to destroy the Southern Triad, recapture the gate, and even slay the Demon King. However, the challenge lies in conquering the vast demon realm. The prince unveils a secret weapon utilizing black powder to propel projectiles, developed by a heretic hired by the Crimson Scholar in the Iron Country. He suggests mass-producing these weapons and assembling an army of mere sleeves that can outmatch their current troops. A voice from the Pope emphasizes the Church's desire for the key and the Demon King's life, instructing them to obtain both. The scene shifts to MC dispelling invisibility, and MC inquires about it. They mention a special spatial denying spell, and MC senses the power of a strange spell. They explain the spell's ability to create a high-density pillar of force, a liquidized magic circle from the Age of Gods. They dismiss MC as a fake enemy, asserting that the hero and MC's results are sufficient. She will remain a spare, possibly a rigged duct. As the Demon King walks down the castle, MC comments on her popularity. The head maid explains that in the demon realm, the greater ones fighting prawn gain more respect. The Demon King acknowledges that Gateway City was retaken in her absence, and she remains under her direct control. She mentions punishing rebels and those who broke her laws. MC launches his plasma inhalator, creating a flashy display that astonishes people. The Demon King notes that it's been 20 years since their first contact with humans and calls for a meeting of the greater race. The people rejoice in the impending all-out war with humans, and the king asks her to clarify her intentions. She addresses the Quritai chiefs, summoning them forward to spread the message throughout the entire demon realm. The demons rejoice at the prospect of war, and MC asks if the Demon King is okay. She replies that there's a lot of work to do, and MC reassures her that he will be with her no matter how long it takes. As the public rejoices at the presence of the Demon King, the scene shifts inside the castle. It is reported that the Southern Triad has sold potatoes to the Central Nations through the alliance. The Demon King expresses that this is the first step toward a dual currency system and a more mature economy. A merchant from the alliance proposes an immediate end to hostilities and permission for trade. The king expresses interest in the proposal and suggests that their worlds might be more similar than they believe. The Demon King meets the knight, who reveals that while she was away, she gave herself to MC. The Demon King gets angry, but the knight clarifies that she meant giving her sword, not her body. The knight admits to loving MC as a master and as a man, expressing that even if the hero never touches her, she can live with that. The Demon King acknowledges her love for MC and the complexity of human emotions. They share a friendly moment, laughing and enjoying each other's company. As they continue their interactions, the headmaid says something embarrassing to the Demon King, prompting laughter. MC tries to visualize the situation, causing the knight and the Demon King to get angry and playfully tease each other. The Demon King reflects on the unexpected growth she witnessed, stemming from the suffering, pain, and bloodshed. The headmaid agrees, emphasizing that these experiences are the beginnings of liberalism. The Demon King expresses her love for the lively and chaotic human world, and the headmaid asks if she's crying. The Demon King admits she wonders why, but she's likely a little proud. The headmaid is glad they met, and the Demon King confesses her love for this world.